It is interesting to see how stark the property was at the time. It was a pre-Civil War farm. It was a functioning farm. There was an intrinsic beauty, and it had been in disrepair for quite a few years. It's worth noting that at the time of purchasing the property, I did little thumbnail diagrams. I've still worked with those with the intent of putting something together. These hand sketches are almost a form in its own right of art, and it conveys an intent. It goes all the way back to the Renaissance, that the architect would be the master builder, convey the intent, orchestrate the team around that intent, and then put something together that we're all proud of. The koi pond was a salvage of material from Chevy Place, which was one of the architectural projects I worked on years prior. We set up a 5-foot deep pond, did a recirculating pump, and set up a very nice fence as you walk into the property. Adjacent to that is the red barn, and it was lucky it was standing. It was actually functioning more like a bridge truss across the back. All the structure had since been gone. So salvaging it over a 10-year period, playing with it, and I'm putting a deck on the side of it now. It's almost the equivalent of a man cave for me. As you go into the house, it was interesting because it had been lived in for a lot of years. I think the original house was just a tiny little shack. But I did see the beauty in the house, and it was a point of contention with my wife at the time when we purchased it. And if you know my wife, she's a small Filipino. She couldn't stand up in the bathrooms because they were in the eaves of the house. So there was a heavy push on the front to take it apart, put it all back together, and then hold the beauty of the intrinsic beauty of the property and express the structure and express the history, but make it ours today. One of the passions we have as architects is breathing life into the projects that we see. We do the same thing with every project we do. Very rarely do we have a client that isn't just exceedingly satisfied. Through my life, I've figured out how to give the client a little bit more than what they've asked for, a little bit less at what the cost is, and on schedule, budget, fee, best outcome that they could possibly look for. That's what we drive for in our work. That's what I did within the house. And it's just a way of working and a way of placing yourself in the world.